Chiefs Kingdom, what's going on? Welcome into today's show. We're going to talk about three pretty cool topics here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jason. You see it on the rundown right here. Trading for Brandon Aiyuk. Could it be a possibility for Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs? And then Coach Spags got an extension. We're going to talk about that just a couple days ago that happened. I want to kind of bring it up and why this is so important. And then Chris Jones mentioned at the parade, obviously, before the events that occurred after, kind of mentioned about coming back. So we're going to talk about what he said and what this means for the future of Chris Jones in Kansas City. I do ask this question, though, because it's the first topic we're going to talk about. Would you like the Chiefs to trade for Brandon Aiyuk? Type T for trade, type P for pass. There's been some drama going on, so I'm curious to see, would you even want this to happen? Say we had to give up anything. Would you want them? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Let me know in the comment section of today's video. All right, what is going on with Brandon Aiyuk? Well, let's just start with that social media is used as a tool and a weapon. And, well, this past week, it's been used more as a weapon for Brandon Aiyuk. Overall, there's been some crazy things happening. And ultimately, I think the Chiefs kind of sent the 49ers into a downward spiral after beating them in Super Bowl 58. They fired their defensive coordinator, who I think is an exceptional defensive coordinator, by the way. Steve Wilks is going to go find a job somewhere else and is going to play well. On top of which, now Brandon Aiyuk saying that he may not be wanting to play there anymore. His girlfriend, his brother, both chiming in on this on social media. It's been an interesting kind of topic to talk about. So what exactly happened? Well, here's kind of the, I say, cliff notes. His brother / best friend, whatever you want to call it, said that Aiyuk will play in Vegas due to his frustrations. Where Vegas comes from, could not tell you. His girlfriend indicated his days with the Niners may be over. And on top of which, he's entering his last year of his rookie deal with that fifth-year option. So it could be a potential for somebody to trade for him. Now, would the Chiefs be interested in Brandon Aiyuk? Well, that's kind of what we're going to get the lowdown here. But I first want to kind of dive more deep into what exactly is happening. Talked about his brother / best friend chiming in. Well, here's the exact tweet and why he said he's going to Vegas. BA to Vegas, you can see down in that bottom of the first picture. And then he says, how does he hit 3 catches, an all-pro wide receiver, 1,300-yard receiver that only gets 3 catches in the Super Bowl? Now, listen. I understand frustrations. 3 receptions in a Super Bowl is not exactly going to be the thing that you want from an all-pro receiver. But at the same time, I think the Niners and Brandon Aiyuk both have to realize they were going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs who had the best defense in the National Football League. And on top of which, Brandon Aiyuk was facing L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie. Those 2 cornerbacks are one of, if not the best cornerback duo in the National Football League, and they may have been the best one in the past 5 years. So I understand the frustration. 3 catches is not exactly great, but the frustration should not be with the Niners. It should be with how good the Chiefs were. Let's continue on, though. Forget that. His girlfriend also chimed in the situation on Instagram saying, okay, this might have been the last day we touch foot on Levi Stadium. Me and Braylon, who is their son, because we might not be out here next season. All I'm going to say is the floodgates have now opened. Obviously, his brother / friend talked about, saying going to Vegas. But I think now that this has happened, the trade rumors have just started spiraling to every single team in the National Football League looking for a wide receiver. And guess who's looking for a wide receiver? That would be the Kansas City Chiefs. They won the Super Bowl, but Brett Veach does not sleep until this team is perfect, and he's not going to continue that. What would Aiyuk cost, though? It's going to cost a first rounder. I think it's going to be probably what is on tap for Aiyuk. And so, given the Chiefs have pick 32, how exactly would that all work? Well, basically, it'd be the first round pick. It'd be pick 32. I don't know if the Niners would accept this, but given the whole, problems, is what I would describe the situation, just the talk about leaving, him kind of having a very lackluster comment on the whole situation, it just wouldn't make sense. So this is kind of what a potential trade would look like between the Chiefs and the 49ers. So I ask you this question. Would you accept this? Say the Niners came up to you and said, all right, we're willing to give you Brandon Aiyuk for a first-round pick. Type Y for yes if you're accepting this trade. Want you to type in for no on whether or not you are not accepting this trade. I will say this. I'm going to tell you why I don't think this is not a smart decision, or if it is a smart decision for Brett Veach in just a second. I have some interesting thoughts. So I'll tell you this in just a moment. But before that, if you're still looking to get your Super Bowl gear, guess what? We got you covered. Go down to the description or the comments. You can use code chatsports.com/Super Bowl. Get your Super Bowl gear. I got this hat. I actually ordered that a couple days ago. Got the shirt. Got the short sleeve shirt. There's long sleeve as well. And then this is my favorite one. Home of the Chrome. Obviously, taking back the Lombardi Trophy back home for the second year in a row is great. And like I mentioned, they have sizes in all shapes: men's, women's, medium, large, small. They got it covered. Chatsports.com/Super Bowl. I'm going to show you this hat because I ordered it just a couple days ago with the link chatsports.com/Super Bowl. And if you want to do the same thing, get either one of these products that are super awesome and show off your championship pride. Well, guess what? We'll have that link in the comment section and the description of this video. Don't miss out because, listen, we're the only team that can rep this for the second year in a row, so make sure you're repping it. I would love Brandon Aiyuk. I'm going to sit here and say that. I'm not going to say that he's not a good receiver. But we know that Mahomes does not need an upper echelon wide receiver to win a Super Bowl. And I'm saying right now, Brandon Aiyuk is an upper echelon wide receiver. You don't believe me? Well, let's look at his stats. He's continued to improve since his rookie year back in 2020. 748 his first year, 826 his second year, 1,000-yard receiver in 2022, and then this year over 1,300 yards, 17.9 average. 17.9. That's wild. Along with 7 touchdowns this year and 8 touchdowns last year. The big issue with this, if you trade for him, you're going to have to extend him. You don't have the money to extend Brandon Aiyuk. Maybe you could make it, but is he worth making that? No, he's going to be worth $20 million a year. The Chiefs just won back-to-back Super Bowls with their leading receiver, which is, again, I'm not discrediting these guys, but their leading receiver was Juju Smith-Schuster and Rashee Rice. Both exceptional guys, not trying to crap on them at all, but I'm just saying they're different than Brandon Aiyuk. And I think Rashee Rice, who almost had 1,000 yards this year, will be a 1,000-yard receiver next year. Ultimately, the question is answered by this. The Chiefs don't have the money. That's what it is. They just don't have the money. Although they need a wide receiver, Aiyuk is not the answer. There is some other names out there that could sign basically free agents that could be the answer. Or you could also just keep pick 32, and there's going to be a good wide receiver there. There's Adonai Mitchell, Keon Coleman, Devontae Walker, just all in there sitting potentially wide receiver candidates. Now, you could also trade up. I mean, who's stopping the Chiefs from saying, all right, we re-signed everybody that we wanted. We are obviously struggling at wide receiver, but that's the only position that we're struggling at. Well, guess what? You could easily just say, hey, Green Bay Packers at 25, could we trade up? Or if Rome Odunze falls to say at 12, 13, 14, what's stopping you from saying, hey guys, I'll give you a second-round pick this year, a second-round pick next year, maybe our first-round pick next year, and you go get a top wide receiver? No one's stopping you. I think that's an easy trade to make. So we'll have to see what happens. But good news is defensively, the Chiefs are going to be all right because this happened just a couple days ago, obviously prior to the shooting, unfortunately, but it's just positive news out of that before that. Fresh off another Super Bowl win, the Chiefs did sign Coach Spags to a contract extension, which is huge, huge news. Guys, he has been the best defensive coordinator in the National Football League for a long time now, and he's finally getting his flowers. So let's congratulate him in the comment section. I want you to type SS for Steve Spagnuolo, or better known as Coach Spags, because as we all know the saying, in Spags we trust. Go down there, type SS. He is going to be a Kansas City Chief for another couple of years, and I am so, so excited. Reed and him are going to be amazing, and if you don't believe me, you don't know why, well, guess what? Here's the stats for the Kansas City Chiefs defense this year. By the way, the Chiefs defense was projected by a lot of people, including me, to be bottom, but like lower than 25, bottom tier of the NFL in terms of defensive ability. They were second in total yards per game. They were fourth in passing yards per game. They were second in points per game. You want to know the team that was better than them? Oh, that's right, the Baltimore Ravens. You want to know who they beat in the AFC Championship game? Oh, that's right, the Baltimore Ravens. Let's talk about the playoffs, too, because Coach Spags increased his game, increased his defense in the postseason, which arguably makes it even more important. 43 drives. That's how many offensive possessions opponents had against the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2023 playoffs. They scored 12 times. That's a less than 30% scoring percentage. This is amazing. And now that you've extended him, he will be with you for the foreseeable future, which is an amazing thing. Oh, yeah, we're also forgetting Chris Jones could be coming back as well. That could add to this defense, make this defense even better into next year. Now, this happened saying at the parade, obviously the events that transpired after, but I will say, I'll say it after the quote. Chris Jones at the rally said that, and for those who want Chris Jones gone, I ain't going nowhere, baby. Woo. I want to be here this year, next year, and the year after. I'm going to start off by saying I love this so much because I can easily see that he wants to be in Kansas City. Chris Jones wants to be a part of the Chiefs for the foreseeable future. I will pause and say that he probably was, well, not probably, he was very much inebriated. There were some drinks flowing, the words were slurring, but he still has the mindset of I want to be here. I trust that Chris Jones wants to be a part of the Kansas City Chiefs. You know who I don't trust? His two agents. Listen, I'm going to sit here and say sports agents are a part of the business, but at the same time, they are the ones who had the holdout for Chris Jones. I'm certain of it because he said after week 18 that he is making money back because he lost so much during the holdout. That doesn't sound like somebody who wanted to hold out. All I'm saying. I think he wants to be back. We'll see, though, if the agents actually come to an agreement. But guess what? We'll have you covered if or if not he is a Kansas City Chief in 2024. So with that subscribe button, we got the latest news on everything happening in this offseason. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Hopefully, we can continue to get better and better news. Again, prayers and thoughts to all the victims of the parade. And hopefully that this video, kind of the first somewhat normal video in a bit. So hopefully we'll get to kind of continue this. But right now, Chiefs Kingdom, we appreciate you. And as always, peace out.